with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the first segment, which is going to be focusing on Joel Embiid. Once again, I know I've talked about Joel Embiid constantly in these first segments, but there's always something going on with the 76ers, at least for this year. I was sort of expecting the year to be smooth sailing for the 76ers, but so far it's been the opposite of that. And this is the first positive news that they've gotten aside from Paul George finally returning. He did play against the Phoenix Suns, even though he was the reason why they ended up losing in that game. But again, hindsight's 2020. Like I said in the last segment, I personally would have given the ball to Maxey to try to end the game, but they gave it to Paul George, and that's that. But when you have a choice between either Maxey or Paul George to take the shot, if you are the 76ers, I think you'd imagine you'd be all right with either one of them taking the shot. But I personally would have rather had Maxey, but that's just me. Now, in regards to Embiid, so Embiid has now been considered Embiid is now eligible to play. So he's finally eligible to play. However, if you guys tuned into the previous segment that I did, then you guys also know that he would be suspended for 3 games. So he is the 3 games that he's eligible to play in are the 3 games that are coming up, which means that Joel Embiid is supposed to be scheduled to play against the Knicks. That is going to be where he makes his debut. And of course, that's when he makes his debut. I mean, the Knicks are the team that ended up eliminating him from the postseason last year. And the game is scheduled to happen on Tuesday. They play in Philly, and excuse me. They also play on primetime, 7:30 TNT. So for any of you guys that want to tune into that game, you guys are really going to be in for a lot. But yeah, this is sort of the expectations with Joel Embiid. Again, this is just the expectations because like what happened previously, we all expected Joel Embiid to be eligible to play against the Detroit Pistons, and that ultimately did not end up happening for reasons we have no idea why. But regardless, it didn't. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not he is supposed to. Well, he's going to play against New York, but he should. This is the expectation, and he should be eligible to be able to play in that game. And if he's not, and if for some reason something comes up where he's not, then I'm just convinced that he doesn't want to play basketball anymore. That's genuinely where it seems that's genuinely the vibe that I sort of get coming from Joel Embiid. And the Sixers, they are scheduled to play the Lakers tomorrow. Joel Embiid will not be able to play in that game because he's suspended. Then on Sunday, he is scheduled to play, the 76ers are scheduled to play the Hornets. And then afterwards, on Tuesday, they'll be scheduled to play the Knicks. So, not to mention the fact that they ended up losing to Phoenix the other day, this means that the 76ers right now, they are 1-6. And they really have to, they'll play the Lakers at home. This should be an easy win for the Lakers, but again, the Lakers are in a little bit of a slump right now. More on them later. And it's not really looking so clear exactly how the future of the 76ers and what that's going to be. Because if you think that Joel Embiid being suspended was bad enough and him not playing was bad enough, now there's another problem, and it's another injury problem. Tyrese Maxey has recently is expected to miss a couple of weeks because of a right hamstring injury, according to ESPN, which this is really, really bad. This is bad news for the 76ers. The most available player, one of the youngest good players that the 76ers have, is now going to miss a couple of weeks. And this is just bad news. Now, I'm not saying that, the 76ers were winning games with Maxey. Of course, I mean it's really difficult when it's just Maxey out there on the court, but it's better to have Maxey than to not have Maxey. You're giving yourself a chance if you have Maxey. And again, maybe you're not, honestly, now to think of it. Because with the way Maxey has been playing, he's been playing rather inefficient. It seems like he lost the ability to shoot, maybe because he was lifting a little bit too much. I have no idea. But that was the same issue that happened with Westbrook. I remember before Westbrook started lifting a little bit more, trying to, get buff to have the ability to be able to get rebounds. It ended up costing him his jump shot. More on Russell Westbrook later, by the way. But that was sort of an issue that happened with Westbrook through the latter half of his career. And now this is happening a little bit earlier with Maxey. Obviously, he's still young. He can still easily develop a shot, like with while the season progresses. But again, this injury may set the 76ers back a little bit more. Now, I believe they still have, I believe Paul George is still going to be eligible for a majority of the season. I don't really expect him to not be eligible, but another problem that the 76ers would have with him being eligible is the fact that he is going to be, for the most part, assuming that Joel Embiid continues with this trend, he's probably going to be alone for these next few weeks. Because again, the 76ers and Joel Embiid, they both agreed that they don't want to play back-to-back games. And if the 76ers ever end up getting a back-to-back game, then chances are Joel Embiid is not going to end up playing in one of them. And this is just, this is essentially forcing Paul George to end up going in some of these games alone, which I think is really, really bad. And I think it's really soft because it's like, why on earth why is this even an option? Like, the fact that it's an option and the fact that the 76ers are allowing it is incredibly soft in my opinion. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Now, with Maxey being injured, again, this is just like your best ability is your availability, and Maxey has so far been the only one out of these two players who has been available whenever they needed him to. And if Paul George goes out with an injury, then this season might be over for the 76ers, and this might be another failure. And I understand you're not really supposed to expect success immediately when a new team is assembled, regardless of their star power, especially recently now in today's NBA. But still, it's like, this is bad. Like, this is some really bad news for the 76ers, and their expectations for this season, at least my expectations for them, was that they were going to be a top team in the Eastern Conference. And it's just been the opposite of that, and it's also been the opposite for another team in the Eastern Conference, which I might get into a little bit later. But again, this is just really, really not good. This is really bad, and I mean, I hope Maxey gets well. I'm sure we all hope he gets well. I love seeing Maxey hoop, and we'll see just how healthy Paul George can remain for the rest of the season, and how healthy Joel Embiid can remain for the rest of the season. But again, this just is not good for the Sixers. This is like, we're lucky. I mean, they are lucky that it's a little bit earlier in the season because, there's still plenty of time to go ahead and fix that. And there's still plenty of time to, amend these setbacks and make yourself a contending team in the later half of the season, right? That's still totally possible. But these early signs and these early issues, I think they only spell disaster for the future, which is why I'm a little bit concerned about this. Because, again, this is just only the start of the season. So, again, I might be a little bit over-exaggerating, but if this is a sign of what is to come with the 76ers, then this might not be good for them. Which, again, it's really, really not ideal. But that's really all that I have for this first segment. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the second segment where I talk about the top 10 rookies from this draft class and, how they've been playing so far. So again, this is the top 5 rookie rankings. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown. Get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. Some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the